More phone call. Sorry, folks.
Bye.
Tomorrow is Tuesday. We'll get to a lot of calls. Calling from a 503 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
This is Matthew.
Matthew? What's on your mind, Matthew?
Yeah, I first wanted to say that I'm really honored to be talking to you, Sam. I think you both have done an excellent job today. I appreciate the story on Israel. I appreciate your take on morality I've taken philosophy classes, and I appreciate what you said about guns. I'm with you on guns. And I also wanted to say I am sorry for the loss of your friend. I've myself dealt with mental health issues, and I just wanted to say my heart's with you.
Oh, thank you. Which friend are you talking about?
Well, I saw something yesterday, and you were talking about the guns and how suicide is actually, and this is true, suicide is actually made easier with guns. And you said you knew somebody who killed themselves with a gun.
Yep.
And that broke my heart. So I wanted to let you know that my heart's with you.
Yeah, the story was even worse than that, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
But I did want to bring up something, and I came prepared because it's on something I took issue with a few days ago. And I hope that I can talk to you about this, and I want to be respectful, so I hope that's okay.
Okay. There's a lot of people who are a little concerned right now, I can tell you, because it's a 2-in-1 day, but let's hear it.
Okay, so internationally renowned scientist Dr. Deborah Davis, who alongside Al Gore was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007 for her being part of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change team as a lead author on their assessment of climate mitigation policies. She formed a organization, Environmental Health Trust, which details a map. It says here both France and Belgium have banned the sale of mobile phones for children under 7. Numerous countries do not allow cell towers on school grounds or high voltage power lines near schools because they have special regulations and more protective limits for sensitive areas. Also, France in 2015 passed a law banning Wi-Fi from all nursery schools and lowering the use of it in elementary schools. Even certain universities in the French National Library have removed their Wi-Fi networks completely based on research that indicates the health concerns are not worth the risks. In Australia, India, Germany, Belgium, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, Austria, Finland, and other places, the safety standards are expanding and the Wi-Fi networks are declining. A group representing over 3,500 medical doctors signed a 2020 consensus statement of UK and international medical and scientific experts and practitioners on health effects of non-ionizing radiation. They are concerned about radio frequency RF emissions from mobile phone networks, Wi-Fi, and the rollout of 5G. And they say that action must be taken now to reduce human exposure to non-ionizing radiation to as low as can be achievable, including a moratorium on the introduction of 5G. And then there's also EMF scientists who study the biological effects of non-ionizing electromagnetic fields, and they also have warned that we need to reduce our exposure. And I could go on to some other things, but I want to keep it short. But the issue I took is you claimed people like me are the equivalent to flat earthers. And there's also California Department of Public Health, Austrian Medical Association, the California Medical Association, and the American Academy of Pediatrics, which is a non-profit professional organization of 60,000 primary care pediatricians, pediatric medical subspecialists, and pediatric surgical specialists dedicated to the health, safety, and well-being of infants, children, adolescents, and young adults. They basically mentioned their concern and how reducing exposure to this would be helpful. And I don't think they're flat earthers. I don't think they're tinfoil hat people.
Reducing
Reducing
exposure to this would be helpful to what?
To health, to overall health. There's an actual international appeal to stop 5G on Earth and in space, and it's actually signed by.
And your argument is what? That the
regulation.
excuse me, hold on one second. That
Sorry.
the non-ionizing radiation is being emitted from Wi-Fi signals or from cell
Various
phone?
things.
And it's all
Wi-Fi,
and
Bluetooth.
okay, and all of it is exactly the same in terms of its health effects.
So it's the accumulation. So like it's if
All of
let's say,
these,
like-
all of these. I get it's cumulative. You're saying, and because it
Yeah.
all, excuse me, because it all lives in the body. The implications of this, or you're saying that if we layer these on top of each other, it causes a problem.
So what I am saying is that when people expose themselves to this non-ionizing radiation, which comes from Wi-Fi,
And it comes from light too, right?
Well, I'm specifically talking about what the over 10,000 peer-reviewed scientific
No.
studies
I'm
demonstrate.
asking you. Listen, I know 10,000 peer-reviewed science. Okay, I'm asking you, how does it interplay with, say, like the non-ionizing radiation from light? Like what you say that the cumulative effect is dangerous to our health generally, and I'm asking you, like, are you saying that if we layer these things on top of each other, or if we get exposed today, I get exposed to Wi-Fi, and tomorrow I get exposed to the cell? I mean, because you have, for the past 10 minutes, laid out all of these studies which imply that you know what you're talking about. And so I'm asking you a very basic question that is not a gotcha question. I'm just trying to understand it, and you're getting a little defensive about it. So there's non-ionizing radiation in light, correct?
I am not talking about the light. I'm talking about
You're talking about
buildup.
non-ionizing radiation, and I'm asking you, is there non-ionized radiation that comes from light?
I am merely sharing with you what various organizations who understand this better than me, but they
Okay.
simplify it.
Well, let me
for
ask you this then. Let
and
me ask you this.
anybody
Let me ask you this.
to share
Why?
it. And I was
Why?
trying to share it with you.
Why? If this is, I'm not sure what you're sharing with me. We can't even get past, like, you're telling me these
A
things.
consensus statement.
That
and
what?
The scientists who study this.
Okay,
and they
science
have
who study
said-
this say that the aggregate of this, and I'm asking a basic question. I don't know the answer. I'm asking a basic question. Is it the aggregate of all this stuff? Or does it, like, if I get Wi-Fi today and I get 5G tomorrow and I get light the next day, that it adds up in the body?
What I am saying is that the light thing is less an issue as much as all the introduction of this technology, which in a very short period of time, we have not, due to our evolution, been equipped to handle. And when there's
Wait, what
more
do you
and
mean
more of this
equipped to
introduced
handle?
into our
See,
environment,
dude,
it causes
listen.
health impact.
I've just asked you honestly, I've asked you like some very basic questions about something that I know nothing about. Like, let me put it this way. If you were a guest on my show and I asked these questions and the guest elided these answers, these are basic, rudimentary questions. And you know how I know they're basic, rudimentary questions? Because I don't know about any of this stuff. And I'm just
Okay, so
asking,
to answer
I'm just
your
asking,
question honestly, I don't know about the light.
Okay, you don't
I
know
just
about, you don't even know that
about the
light,
technology.
you don't even know that light emits this stuff.
But I know what these organizations are saying.
Okay,
I know
okay,
what these
okay.
scientists are
So, all
saying
right,
about
so
the
we're just going to
technology.
defer to, you've just basically given me a bibliography without actually any citations, and you're assessing what they're saying, even though you don't seem to know some of the most basic stuff about it. Okay, fine. Let me ask you this. This is something I do know about. With all this information out there, and your argument is this is causal, right? This isn't correlative, I would imagine. Why hasn't there been a lawsuit?
There has. Actually, in 2021, environmental groups and petitioners took the FCC to court, and the federal judge ruled on the favor of the environmental organizations and the petitioners, and ordered the FCC to explain why it ignored scientific evidence showing harm from wireless.
Okay, and so what did the FCC put out at that point?
I don't know. They're just ordered to explain why according to
Did they
the
explain
court,
it? That was 3 years ago. 2 years
I
ago.
did not follow that. I just know about this court. You asked
Okay,
if there's a court thing.
okay.
I
Let me
just-
ask
so
you
I
this.
gave you that.
Do you know what kind of money, like for instance, like Bobby Kennedy is a tort lawyer.
Right, and I'm not voting for him.
Okay.
I'm not voting for him.
I'm just using an example. I mean, I know a bunch of others too, but I know the Bobby is. And I imagine if you saw me talk about Wi-Fi and that type of stuff, it was in the context of Bobby Kennedy saying that it was dangerous on Rogan. Bobby Kennedy is a tort lawyer. And if Bobby Kennedy has that kind of information, that there has been damage done to human beings that can be tracked to this technology that is being sold and can prove a causal connection, there is, I want to say millions, but it's probably billions of dollars that can be recovered. And it is surprising to me that there have not been lawsuits like that for technology that we've had for decades now.
So according to some of these organizations I have read, there has actually been lawsuits internationally, and many lawyers are very much convinced that they're, with the evidence of harm, that they can actually win quite easily, and many insurance companies
Wait, so
are
they're
actually
convinced
saying
that they
this
can
is
win
high
quite
risk.
easily. Why aren't they bringing these cases?
Well, they are, but you just haven't heard about it.
Really?
I told you.
Well, I'll tell you
about
what.
the
I'll tell you
federal
what.
one
I'll
in
tell you.
2021.
Yeah. Now, I know you
and,
told me about a regulatory like a resolution from an FCC, and for all I know, they put it out and it said it's not harmful.
Yeah,
that
but then
would have
they
been in compliance,
They would be
but-
lying. They would be lying.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going down in October to a conference full of tort attorneys. And I will ask around. Anybody got any of these cases? Because I know what the answer is. We've looked into it. No. He said, maybe it's possible if you hold the cell phone to like a specific place on your body 24/7. There's no doubt, I have no doubt, that some of this stuff may be harmful to human beings in the same way that like the arsenic in a peach is. But it's a question of like how much, what kind of damage is it doing, what causal, this and that. I am all in favor of kids under 7 not having cell phones because
Awesome.
I see what it does to their
brains,
but
yeah.
not for
Yeah.
my health.
And I just want to say, I mean, part
My-
of the examples that you describe about in those schools internationally, them getting rid, like banning cell phones, maybe banning, like not wanting Wi-Fi for the school. Do you know that that is because of their fears about radiation, or because of what Sam is describing, their fears about their brain
Kids
development?
using the devices, not the health implications on them physically, but more on them mentally. That's why I don't want kids to
Well,
have
it does
phones.
affect. So some of the things that happen.
I gotta go.
as a
Listen,
result
I'll tell
of-
you what. Send an email at majorityreporters@gmail.com with all the links to that stuff, and I'll take a look at it. You've already made it clear. It's really just for you. It's just about passing on this information, and you've done that. So send the email.
And
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I gotta
Could
go.
I just say one thing just to end it nicely? Because I don't want to end it negative. Because I do like
Gotta
you
be
guys.
quick.
Gotta be quick.
Okay. Yes, I will send this to you, and that's all I wanted to do was get this out because I don't think this is tinfoil hat stuff. I do think there's some. It's like there was a time tobacco companies paid doctors to go on TV and say tobacco doesn't give lung
You know
cancer.
what? There was also a time where writers in the New Yorker, I think his last name was Boudoir, if I remember, in the 70s wrote that those power towers bringing electricity were also giving us all cancer. And it turned out that he was wrong.
Well, I will say that there are actual regulations on that in other parts of the world. But I will send you a link with all this stuff.
Okay. Appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can understand why the audience, not that guy, but other people get mad at me. I understand why my co-hosts and my
I wasn't
my
even
colleagues,
that mad
my
about
colleagues
that
get
one.
mad at me. I understand.
I wasn't
It's
that
all
mad.
right. Good thing we had the show dinner last night, and we're at peak sort of like indulgence
Yeah.
for Sam.
Yeah.
That's what's going on right there.